Okay, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm back in my element just for the weekend, and then I head back down to work on Mr. Mercedes Season 3. I think we're on, we do 2 episodes at a time, so we're on 3 and 4. But that's it. I'm not going to say anything more than that. No spoilers. I signed an NDA, so if you ask me any questions in the comment section, you're not getting one piece of information. But let's get right to it. Over the weekend, my wife and I had a chance to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and we watched it streaming. I have to say, I was really, really, really impressed with this film. Yes, it won an Oscar for Best Animated Film. I'll have to say, like, as someone who enjoys comic books and did as a kid, the way they drew the animation was really amazing. I mean, there were you could see all the lines in the shadows and how the way they make comic books. And so I can't imagine. Now, I had heard that this movie took 6 years to make. So although I would love to see them make more of these films, you know, are they going to make more if they take this long to crank out? I mean, we'd be waiting forever to see another one of these films. But it had an all-star cast. I was really excited about it. Shameik Moore played Miles Morales. I thought it was a great character. It was fully fleshed out. I mean, if you ever looked at the comic books and you saw the alternate timeline, Miles Morales, they started doing these offshoots of all these different characters, and this was great. I mean, it was awesome to see them, you know, when the porthole opens up because of the super collider, all these different Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Spider-Pigs, Spider-Man Noir, all of them get sucked into this one universe, and they all have to work together to get back to their multiverses. And I loved it. I thought it was great. Jake Johnson played I think one of the versions of Peter Parker, and I'm not a fan of his work in anything that he does. It's just, you know, some people I'm just like, I could give or take, and I didn't know he was in the film, but the character was great that he played. Haley Steinfeld was in this. She played the Gwen Spider-Woman Gwen, and I just finished seeing her in Bumblebee like last week. She's great. She's absolutely fantastic. She did a great job with the role. Mahershala Ali, I always get tongue-tied with his name. He played Uncle Aaron, who wound up being one of the villains in the film. Lily Tomlin was Aunt May, which was great. Nicolas Cage. I mean, Nick Cage was in this thing, and I didn't know he was in it. I had no idea. And then all of a sudden, bloop, here he is. And to play Spider-Man Noir was just perfect. And the Rubik's Cube and everything. It was great. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen it, but it was awesome. I thought Nicolas Cage did a great job. And the beauty about Nicolas Cage is like his heart and soul is in like comic books. I mean, I think he named his son Jor-El or Kal-El or something like that from Superman, and everyone knows that he was in the Superman film that never got off the ground, Superman Lives, and he was in costume and everything. It was directed by Tim Burton, and then it just, you know, they pulled the plug on it. And you know, he's had some really cool, you know, he was in Kick-Ass, which I enjoyed as Big Daddy, and you know, he was able to bring out that because he couldn't actually play Batman. He was a Batman type character, and he played it like Adam West from the old 60s show. And look, he has fun with these, and so I feel like he keeps checking off these little boxes in his superhero comic book world of cool things that he could be a part of. And to be a part of this Spider-Verse, good for him, man. I'd like to see a whole movie based on Spider-Man Noir. That would be great. Chris Pine played Peter Parker in this thing. Zoe Kravitz was in this thing. And the Stan Lee cameo was just perfect. I mean, you can't get any better than that. I mean, they really did justice with Stan Lee for that cameo in the animation like that, and it sounded just like him. So I didn't notice in the credits if it was him. I'll have to check, but I think that he might have been able to have pulled that off because if the movie was 6 years in development, he might have been able to lay those tracks down a while back. So I'm really excited if he did do it. The animation was breathtaking. The story was really good. The multi-layers of one Spider-Man, in his universe, actually breaking up with MJ, and MJ was played by Zoe Kravitz in this one. And then, the other one, there was the pig version of Spider-Man, and then Gwen, Spider-Woman, and all these different, and they all had their own thing going on, and then they had to get back to their respective worlds. And the Miles Morales character had to, he was struggling throughout the whole movie to become the Spider-Man that his world needed. And then he finally was able to do it towards the end and, save the day, which you kind of assume that. And so it just was a really good film. It had a lot of heart. Phil Lord was involved in this thing. And I think he accepted the Oscar with all the people that were up there. And although I don't know what happened on Solo, I was never a fan of the Lego films. I saw Lego Batman. I don't know if he did that one or he just did the original Lego one, Phil Lord and Miller, but I never liked Legos. That's just not my thing. I was never into it as a kid, and the comedy behind them. When I watched the Batman one, I was like, I was really waiting for the movie to end. So, but I was like, okay, this is Spider-Man, this is Sony, this is something different. I'm going to go into it with fresh eyes, and, it just blew me away. I mean, the movie just blew me away. Great job to all the cast and crew. And the animators. I can't imagine how many there were. I bet these people were so done drawing lines that, their hands must have been cramping, or it was probably all done in CG or something. But still, it doesn't matter. I mean, so much work went into this movie. But again, it's like that's the big question I have. 6 years. It took 6 years to make this movie. Are we going to see more of these films? I mean, because I would love to see one of Batman. I'd love to see one of Superman. I'd love to see I'd love to see offshoots of the Spider incarnations from the multiverse. But 6 years, man, I'll be dead, before they make a total of 5 of these films. And that's exaggeration, but still, I mean, it's like they've got to figure out a way to speed up the animation. Now, I remember when they first started doing South Park, it was done with geometric shapes and paper and all this kind of stuff, and they animated it like that, and then they had to figure out a way to do it with computer programs but still make it look basic, in order to speed up the process. They've got to break that nut and figure out how they can speed up this process, because 6 years is just too long to wait in between films if that's what they're going to do. So, but I'm excited, man. I hope if you haven't seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, see it, stream it. If they re-release it, watch it on the big screen. I'm kind of kicking myself now that I missed it. I should have seen it on the big screen, and I did not. So I'm kicking myself. But tell me what you thought, what you liked about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and let's talk about it in the comment section. We'll see you on the next one.